Welcome to my channel. Today I have a lot that I plan to share with you, and what I'll do is put some chapters in this video so that you can skip to the part you want to see. But I thought I would start with just some of our flowers that are left from the summer garden. I know a lot of you live in northern climates where you probably don't have any flowers anymore. And that is one of the things that I do love about living in the South. We can have flowers just about year round. But anyway, I just thought I would start with sharing these with you. And then I am going to share with you our winter garden, the things that we planted and how they're doing at this point in time. And then I had to do a quick harvest of a few things from the garden that were left from the summer garden because we had a freeze coming. So I'm going to show you how I preserved those things. And then I'm going to show you our makeshift greenhouse. If you remember, if you've seen my videos before, our greenhouse got crushed by a tree during a storm, so we don't have it anymore. So I'm going to show you what we did this year to solve that little problem. And then lastly, I am going to share my rose garden with you. I want to share it with you because I think it's really beautiful, but because it's been through several freezes and then pouring rain, and I'm just pretty still amazed at how it looks. So I've saved the best, in my opinion, for last. But anyway, that's what I'm going to share with you today. And like I said, I added some chapters in here so that you can find the part you want to see. So about a month ago, we went shopping for plants to plant in our winter garden. And we were looking for broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, what else? Kale, green onions, spinach, lettuce. Those are the things that we wanted to plant. So some of it we wanted to buy in plants, and some of it we wanted to get seeds. And we did do pretty good. The nursery had several different varieties. Here's an eggplant, which will not grow here in the winter. So that poor little thing, if somebody plants it, it won't survive very long. But here's what we ended up with. Some herbs and several different cabbages, several different cauliflower, broccoli, and green onions. And then we also got seeds for some of the other things. Now here's what's left in our garden right now. This huge basil plant. This thing is really big, bigger than it looks. It just came up voluntarily. We didn't plant it there, but I do plan to use it. And then we still have peppers that are producing in our garden, and they are still producing a lot of peppers. Then here we have 3 empty beds right here, and these are the ones we're going to be planting. Those are our little plants right there in that bed that we bought. So we're going to be planting those over here. And then we have 2 empty beds over here that will be green onions and garlic. And I think that's all that's going over there. So this is the bed. We're planting the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the cabbage in this bed. And all of that we're planting from started plants already. We did get some seeds, I think broccoli seeds, that we're going to give those a try and see how that does, but we've never grown broccoli from seed before, so we'll see. Now here he's planting the green onions down the middle of this bed, and then we're going to go up each side of it and plant the garlic. We bought some garlic. I usually every year buy 1 package of organic garlic from Azure Standard, and I'll try to leave a link for that for you if you're interested in that. It's not sold as planting garlic, it's just sold for eating, but I usually get some because I do like to plant organic. And then also we always have garlic left that we grew the year before, so we will plant that garlic too. Now in this bed, I'm planting the seeds. Here I planted lettuce seeds, several different types of lettuce, spinach, kale. I think that's all that got planted in the seed bed. And here he's getting the garlic ready. And like I said, a lot of this is garlic that we grew. And then we did buy that one little bit of organic. And every year we try to plant enough garlic to have some left to plant in our garden the next year. So here, this is a couple of weeks later, and that's the little garlic sprouts right there that are coming up. So they've already started coming up. And then the green onions are planted in the middle of this bed. Okay, and so now that's that bed we were just planting in the video. Here it is a few weeks later. This is what it looks like. And so that's our cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, all that. Here is our lettuce, and the rest of that bed of seeds did not fare too well. Just a few very sparse things came up in that. And so like I said, we had a really quick freeze coming. We've been having a pretty warm fall actually, and then we had this freeze, so I had to go out there and get all of the bell peppers picked off of those bushes and bring those in. And so my plan with those is to cut those up and put them in the freezer. I really like to have bell peppers in the freezer because bell peppers are one of the things that I find get really expensive during the winter. And so then if you have recipes that you like to use bell peppers in, you have to pay a pretty good bit to get fresh bell peppers. So I like to put my own up in the freezer, and I always hope that I can get enough to last me all the way until the next bell peppers start coming in the next year. And I do think I will have that this year. I don't think that'll be a problem. So these I'm doing in strips. I used to chop my bell peppers up into little pieces, and then I found that it just really didn't work very well. Bell peppers start thawing pretty quick when you take them out of the freezer. So by the time I would take the bag out of the freezer, get what I wanted out of there, and then go get them back in the freezer, they would kind of start sticking together, and then I would just end up with big hunks of bell pepper. And so I started cutting them in strips, and I like this a lot better. For one thing, these strips are the perfect size for fajitas, and that's one of the things that we like to use them for. And then I also have a bell pepper casserole, which is kind of like a deconstructed stuffed bell peppers, and I like to use the strips in that too. So that's two of the things that I use the strips for. But the strips are really easy to take out and just chop smaller if you're needing, chopped bell peppers for something else. But yet they hold up in the freezer a lot better. I think so. So that's how I like to do mine. So I'll put these on this tray, and then I'll put them in the freezer and quick freeze them, and then take them out when they're frozen, and I'll put them into a Ziploc bag. Now, one of the other things that I had was that big, huge bush of basil. So I clipped that whole thing down, and it was huge. I knew it would take me a while to get through it, and we were having a birthday party that day. So I just took all those big chunks of basil and I put them in water in a couple of buckets so that they would stay good. And they did. They stayed good for a couple of days, and that gave me a little bit of time to make it through the birthday party and then be able to get my basil put up. So the way I'm doing it is I am going to put it into the dehydrator. I like to dehydrate some basil so that I have it to use all of the rest of the winter until we have fresh basil again the next year. I use it fresh while it's growing. When I have things I want to put basil in, I just go out and pick it and use it fresh. And the other thing I like to do with my basil is to make pesto, which I think that's also a really good way to preserve your basil, is to make pesto and put it in the freezer. and then you have that ready to go. I have a video showing you how I make my pesto, so I will try to put a link to it here for you. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill up these trays with basil leaves for my dehydrator, and then when I get them full, I'll put this in the dehydrator and dehydrate it at 95 degrees. It always turns out really well, and what I do is I just start checking it, I don't know, like every couple of hours after I get it going, and I take it out when it looks ready. Now, sometimes all of the leaves on your tray aren't ready at the same time. So if they're not, I take out the ones, if there's not very many of them that aren't ready, I just pick those off at the tray and put them on one of the other trays that I'm leaving in there, because they're all getting ready at different times, just because I didn't get them all in the dehydrator at the same time. And so that way I can take out the ones that are ready and go ahead and store those and let the ones that are not ready continue on dehydrating some more. I like to store my dehydrated basil or any of my herbs that I dehydrate in these jars that have these flip top lids with the gaskets that seal really well. I have never had a problem with them when I put them in these kind of jars, so this is what I try to use. Most of the time, I have several jars that I've collected through the years. They're all different sizes and shapes because I usually get them from thrift stores and flea markets and places like that. That's one of the things that I kind of am always looking for when I'm out thrifting, are jars that I can use to store different things in. So I'll just fill these jars up, and if you notice, I'm not like crunching up my basil. I'm putting the leaves in there whole. This is the way I like to do it. It might not be the proper way, I don't really know, but this is the way I like to do it. And I actually will crush it between my fingers when I go to use it and put it in something. That's when I'll crush it. I feel like it stays fresher that way, and I get a fresher product to use as I use it. So that is the way that I do mine. So I'll just fill my jar up, and like I said, I have more basil that's still in the dehydrator because I kind of got this going over a course of a couple of days, so it'll also finish for a couple of days. Look at all of that beautiful basil ready to be used. And here we come to the makeshift greenhouse. I don't know if you remember, if you watched my videos a few years ago, I showed you how this was before we had our greenhouse, how we would cover this arch trellis that's in our garden with tarps and use it to put our plants in there. And so then we got a greenhouse. We didn't have to do this anymore. And then our greenhouse got destroyed. So now we're back to the trellis and tarp situation again, but it works. So we have a light in there. When it's freezing, we close we kind of made it this year where it had a little door we could open and close. We close the door up and turn the light on. At night, we try to open it during the day because it does get warm in there during the day, and we want to let the plants get some light. But that's what we're doing. And here is the rose garden. I feel like I saved the best for last because this is one of the things in my life that makes me happy. These are outside my back door, and I just love coming out and looking at the roses. Now, if you can tell, these have, like, I want to call it freezer burned, but I guess it's just frost. They're frostbitten. So these roses have been here through all of those frosts, all of that rain. I thought the rain would knock them all off the bushes. It usually does because we had some pretty heavy rain, but these things are just like hanging on and still looking really beautiful, even though the frost has played a little number on them, but they're just really, really pretty. And these are all old garden roses or antique roses. And so they do really well. They bloom. They're easy to grow. And they're still blooming. There's still buds on them that are opening up even after all of the freezing weather. So like I said before, one of the things that I really love about living in the South is that I can have roses in December. And they may even still be blooming in January and February. And then, of course, about March, you start getting the really nice new spring growth. But here are these, and I just wanted to share this with you because, like I said, it's one of the things that makes me happy. It makes me feel good. And so I wanted to share that with you too. And I hope that it will do the same for you. Just seeing the flowers during these dreary winter months. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I hope that my little flower tour made you feel good and brightened up your day.